All right, so here we go. Time for the truth. Okay, so pretty much this is definitely the beginning of my coming into the public with disclosure, which disclosure is obviously it's pretty obvious what it is. You know, when obviously the masses are completely you know they I mean just no one knows what's going on at all, but that's why I'm here. And as hard as it is though to get, I mean, actually it's not hard. It's the most amazing thing that could ever actually be known, because once you really wake up and understand what's going on, it's really actually quite extraordinary. And I know that I have been led into enough information. I have been given enough, knowledge of secrets and mysteries to understand the big picture and to put it all together and to put it into words that people can definitely understand, because the whole story is actually quite epic. And I am a part of disclosing it. So because right now what I'm dealing with is the sensitivity of the information that I know about is so sensitive that when I post anything up on Facebook, immediately I have agents all around my house, doing what they call it's a form of harassment that people in my field deal with, because once you start disclosing truth out there, they harass you. They is the CIA, the shadow government, the government that has held this world in oppression, the old world order, the Matrix, definitely. The controllers that set up the Matrix. And then every time, because I am one of the ones that has woken up out of the Matrix. So, and seeing the illusion for what it is, really, and it's really an illusion. It really is an illusion. And once you decide to take the blue pill, or actually mind that the red pill, you'll see what I'm talking about. But that's an actual choice, because either you're going to take the blue pill and be a slave forever and never even know what freedom is, or you'll take the red pill and see how deep the see how deep the rabbit hole goes, to understand truth. And that's just the way that it is. And when you watch the movie The Matrix, just know that that's not just a movie. And we could definitely go into that, but we won't. I definitely, this video, I definitely wanted to be about, because I could talk about a lot of things. I could talk about a lot of things, but I want this video to be about pretty much information classification, because in the world we live in and the government we live in, the government has a definite clearance levels, of information that, obviously each level of information is put in those clearance levels, but, it goes way above top secret. It goes way above top secret. And, each classification of level has certain information that pertains to that classification. And that information is definitely not, Como 4 news and King 5 news. It's that information is mass media. CNN is mass media. All these things are mass media that are made to control the masses. It's like, yes, they show you some things, but they are completely just chopped and screwed up to for control. Because but I mean there is really to unravel this whole thing, this is gonna be a great effort, and it has been for a long time. But in my part of it, I'm gonna do the best that I can, and I know that I can. I know the truth. So but this is gonna be about about information classification. So when classifying information, it's like the how they classify the information is on the sensitivity of the information, on the damage that it can be on national security. And when information in national security, it's like if something were to get out, I mean, and you can definitely see that with Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and people like that. I mean, what they were doing, was they were just making available documents and information that is actually it's a universal law when you get into it. This planet's heavily oppressed by a dark government, a dark force, but in a liberated universe, in a liberated planet, like all information can be known by everybody, and that's how it's supposed to be. But and as we move forward into time here, that's how it is going to be, because everybody thinks that, and that this has to do with disinformation. Everybody thinks since 2012 has passed, nothing's going to happen. I mean, that is what people think. They really think that, though. They really actually think that, though. But I can tell you this, is that is not true. Because just because 2012 happened does not mean that there's going to be a cosmic event that changes the face of this world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying I've done a little bit of studying, and will continue to, and know that there is an event coming. And just because 2012 passed does not mean that this event will not be known at a worldwide level. You know what I'm saying? Because it will be, and it will be very cosmic, but we could get into that, but we won't. And but I can get into that, because I can get into all these things, but just like anyone that is dealing with what I'm dealing with, I've definitely been in by myself for quite some time, because of the mission that I'm doing, and it has to be with the truth. So this is all part of my mission, and it most certainly is. I know Tom Cruise is playing a spy in the movie, trying to get a Mission Impossible, in Mission. But I mean, what the mission that I've undertaken is pretty impossible, because I mean, I am literally trying to wake the world up. You know what I'm saying? To that there is more going on than just getting up every day, going to work, watching the news, the Groundhog Day. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, and literally, there's been a much larger war going on that has to do with much more advanced concepts than the war going on that is shown to the masses. That's the lowest level of warfare that there is, and that's used for power and control and victimization and all that stuff to keep people locked in one form of consciousness. But the level of warfare that I'm involved in is definitely much more complex than the level of warfare that people know about mostly, which is ISIS, coming into America. It's like that. It's like we're not even. That's another topic. But anyways, when I post this up, I'll have agents everywhere around me, but I don't even care anymore because they can't do anything to me because I have protection by people that are looking out for me. So, anyways, I'm getting this stuff out though because and this is important information because it's definitely above top secret, and if you don't want to know above top secret information, then that's fine, but if you want to know what's going on, and and you do want to know what's going on, because if you don't, then you're going to be living in ignorance, and that is something that you don't want to be living in. So anyways, this is going to be interesting though when I post this up and see this tomorrow, because I'm about to go full bore into my mission, because basically I am a sleeper agent, for the Illuminati, and I basically woke up to this, understanding about 7 years ago, and my whole life since then has been about basically a total recall of my life, my past lives, and my future lives, because I basically am a seed, of change, and a systems breaker, because the current system that we're living underneath right now is on its way out, due to many different forces, and the most powerful force, universal force, and dialectical evolution. And dialectical meaning that the dialectic meaning that everything evolves to its end point, omega point, which is what the universe is evolving into, because the universe is evolving, and so are we along with it, because we're part of it. So that's what is happening, and what we are not is we are not slaves, but yet most of the human consciousness is under that assumption. You know what I'm saying? And they support that, and they will gladly support that, and they will gladly fight for what they have, just like they say in the Matrix, though, because you have your security, which it's like your security, right? Your security is your job, your house, your car, your all that. But spiritual security is definitely pretty important. But anyways, though, that's what I'm saying is that when this time comes, because the truth is, though, is that if it isn't clear by now, we're underneath an alien threat. You know what I'm saying right now, and our future does depend on what we do now about that. And right now there is it is a silent warfare, going on, because there are light warriors and light workers that are fighting against the implementation of their reality on us, on humanity, because they know that they control through that we create reality. So if they control what we think and what we're projecting, then they're creating their reality through us, which is what they've been doing because we've been so susceptible to their influence, and that's just very clear. And I mean, and this is good. I mean, the awakening of awakenings is on the horizon, though, and the truth is I am ahead of time and ahead of my time, and I can explain that more. But the information that I'm coming out with right now is from ahead of time. So I definitely know what the future looks like, and definitely know the transformation and transition that will be happening into that future. I have some, I definitely have some insight on that, and that is not I mean, because right now I know that most people are not even aware, even close, because I mean, I did, get past the veil of the matrix, and it's my mission to give people the truth now, and the truth is that we're fighting for our freedom. Humanity is fighting for its freedom, its sovereignty, and information and knowledge is going to be the thing that saves us, not anything else besides knowledge. Knowledge is the only thing that can save anybody, and you are the only person that can save yourself through knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I am I have been involved in secret space program, and basically what that is all about is I could get into that, but I'm not going to get into that because that's just, I can go on about that. I'm going to make it short, but I was as a young child, definitely even through before that, past lives, because I have had other lives before this, that I remember, and that happens when you have when you go through a spiritual journey, an actual, and you're spiritually oriented instead of material oriented, you actually recall past lives, and that's part of the great work. That's part of Freemasonry. That's part of all of the mystery schools that I have been involved in all my lives, and I am involved in this one as well. And anyways, it I have had many incarnations on this earth, each time to basically, and each time coming to the same point of one of knowing the truth, and then wanting to get it out there. It's like, and when I post this up on Facebook, I'm not posting this up for for reverence or fame or fortune or anything like that, because when you are an initiate in the real Illuminati, you understand that in the real Illuminati, they are not nothing about fortune or fame or prestige or reverence or anything like that. I mean, that is not even close to who the real Illuminati are. And when you get into the Illuminati, they're that is definitely a rabbit hole that you go down, obviously. But once you go down that and get to the end of that tunnel and see the light in that, you definitely realize that is there are actually three types of Illuminati. There are the dark Illuminati, who are, obviously the ones, the old world order, the ones that control this world, the elite right now that are in control of this world. In this, I'm not going to get too, because actually, I mean, there has been a turn of tides, but it's still prevalent in this world that we live underneath the one world order, the old world order, the Federal Reserve System, all of this stuff. Right now we do, but in the future here, in about 2 years, it's not going to be the same, because that system is actually a completely slavery, tyrannical, debt system that has kept this whole world in complete ignorance and slavery. And I mean, we can uncover that too, but we're not going to go there. But that's the truth, and that's the truth of that. But no one feels like they have the power to do anything about what's going on. They just think they have to do what they have to do to continue on, surviving. Because that's what everybody's pretty much doing, except for the elite. But actually, the elite right now they're not living too great. I mean, they're living out their last days. This is the last waltz of the tyrants. They're not living too luxurious anymore, because they're enjoying the material things that they have acquired, but they're living in complete fear, which is what the what people of God are living in, is not complete fear. It's actually no fear. So and that this has to do with aeons of oppression of humanity. And just like even in the Egyptian, even in the slaves have always been, they knew how to make slaves, because it's like you give a slave a reasonable amount of comfort to keep them ignorant, and that is how you do that, and that they know that. And it's like, but you think a slave is someone that is whipped down to the thing, and that's what's up. But just know that it's they have a plan for everything. There's a reason why there's convenience stores. There's a reason why there's supermarkets. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really think about it, the mass scale of people on this world, I mean, if you step out of your mind for a second and see how many people in the world there is, I mean, there is a lot of people. And if you are in control of this world, the one thing that you want to do is keep them under control. So you keep them happy with supermarkets, food that is accessible. You keep them happy with convenience stores, where you got all your Cheetos and you got your dip, you got your beer, you know what I'm saying, that you can just get into after your day of slave labor on away for mincemeat. You know what I'm saying? And then you can get that there. And I mean, there's a way that this system is set up to keep people under complete control. And I mean, if you can live in it comfortably, it's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? But it is not for the advancement and benefit of the human race and the people, because it's like that is what I mean, there's so many different directions I could go with this, but I will stay on the topic that I am just on right now, because we'll see. But I'm gonna post this video up, and it's gonna be an hour long on Facebook. But it's like, damn though, because it's like, it's about time my ass is coming out with this, because I'm tired of walking around every day pretending to know that I don't know what I know. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I'm just done with. And if I am constantly 24/7 surveillanced, I probably have, all agents right now watching. I mean, I do, because there are agents that are constantly in surveillancing me all the time, 24/7, my whole entire life. So I know that everything that I do is known, but I'm not afraid of anything. So because I'm ready. I mean, they don't, and I'm protected too. So, and plus, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than I ever have become. Just like all the Jedi were saying. So, okay. So basically, getting back to level clearances and classification. It's like, everybody knows that there's confidential, there's secret, there's top secret, and then once you start getting above top secret, that's when you start getting into some some sensitive information. And it's like, once you start getting above top secret, you go into unacknowledged special access programs, which are they're not acknowledged. They're special for obviously dealing with things that are not even known about on the public spectrum of things, obviously. And those programs are above top secret, above black. They're black projects. This is where the money's going. This is where everybody's tax dollars are going. But I mean, plus the roads and stuff and all that shit. But this is where the shit's really going. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I am gonna post this video up, and we're gonna see what happens after this. But nothing's gonna happen to me. But I just know that if you want to know what's going on, then you'll listen to me. But if you don't, then that's okay, because I mean, this is all leading up to something extremely epically huge. That I can say, but I can't say because it is that sensitive. So obviously I can't, because if I even want to put this video out, I can't say some of the things I want to say, because that's the sensitivity of the information that I know. But so I'm just starting to tell about above top secret. There's 34 levels of clearance that you can go above top secret. And the president of the United States is at the 17th level, 18th level, 17th, 18th level of clearance. And then and that's where he's at. So he knows up to that level. And what I know is that what I've been involved in, I am way above that level. I know information that is much higher than the president's clearance. So yeah. So let me get into that. After in basically the top 10 levels of clearance, when you get to the very top 10, which presidents at 17, we're talking about 27. You start getting into to programs that obviously have to do with things that are not of this world. And that obviously is a sensitive topic, because in this world, as far as we know, we're still trying to figure out if we're alone or not. And when they have National Geographics out at Safeways, which National Geographic is very obviously a very looked at source, and they're posting up their new little thing is, are we alone? And it's like got them. It's a fucking sick picture, But it's like what they're doing though is obviously they're spurning people's curiosity and all that stuff though. But at the same time though, they're getting people prepared for what is about to happen, subconsciously, and there is it is all part of Project Bluebeam. It is part of subconscious programming for getting people ready, soft disclosure, for people getting people ready for what is about to happen. And along with movies, along with everything, it's all soft disclosure for the future, and anyways, you know that basically when you get in the top 10 clearances of classification, you get into levels like they start naming the classifications, and each classification has a certain thing that it deals with, and for one, there is there's ZD27, there's Orbit, which is it's the people that are in this, they have the accountability of all the satellites that are around the world, and I mean there are so many satellites. I mean there is so much shit going on up there. There's satellite space, fucking garbage, fucking ships. I mean there's so much stuff going on in space that they have the satellites, obviously gather information on that, but I mean you got to realize that there's more going on than you slaving away every day to survive, and after Orbit there's Triad, and that classification has to deal with basically implementing security for criminality in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And because it goes a little bit deeper than just the police. Just taking people in. I mean that classification is obviously is focused on keeping order. Is focused on keeping order. In the through their means, how they see that order should be kept, which it's very controlling, and it does I mean I won't say that it keeps it doesn't, it's not peace, it's controlling, and I don't, this is our government's way of running things, and basically, I don't, the American government, I am an American. Constitution of the United States is what I support, and definitely until death do me part, because I know that my ancestors wrote that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I abide by that. But when your own country's government has overstepped the bounds of defending the Constitution, there's a problem with that. So, but I'm telling you about how the most highest levels of government work to keep us under control right now. That's what this topic is about. I mean, there's so many other topics. I mean, there are topics that I could talk about that are amazing, like spiritual topics that are just like. But this topic is obviously the government's controlling us. And so there, from Triad, there's Astral, and the people that are involved in this classification are dealing with projects that are beyond this realm. You know what I'm saying? Which there are many different dimensions. Obviously this is just our body. You know what I'm saying? But there's way more going on than just the image of your body. For anyone, it doesn't matter who you are. And it obviously through past things of like Hitler. Hitler actually, that's where all this classification done around alien technology came from, was from the Nazis, was because all of the first, there's all of that alien technology came through Hitler, and then once once the Allies defeated him in World War II, we were able to bring his, all that that technology and all that studying over to us, to continue it. And there's everybody thinks they know what happened in World War II, but that's another story, because Hitler didn't die. He wasn't killed outside the bunker and burned, with Ava Braun there. That's misinformation, disinformation. And obviously that takes a while to understand and know, because that he didn't. That they told you that. And then when you realize, that they told you that your own government is telling you a lie, that, that Hitler was burned, that his remains could never be recovered because he was burned, and along with, and they committed suicide, and you realize that they're telling you a lie. That's when the conspiracy things start. It starts a lot earlier than that, but when you do really realize, you're like, dang, my own government is telling me that they died there, but they didn't, though, because they actually fled. Hitler fled to Argentina in a submarine, and began to start his kept going with what their goal was, and I could get into that, and I could get into where they go, and where they went, and where they're at, but I'm not going to get into that right now, because I'm still talking about freaking clearance classifications. But from there's Stellar, and that is NSA wiretapping, eavesdropping. Obviously all the people that are in this are all about the harassment. Anyone that is a threat to the system, anyone that could turn the tides, anyone that poses a threat to actually changing the way things are they're monitored, they're targeted, they're all of their shit's tapped, people are watching them. Obviously I'm dealing with people that are involved in this, because around where I'm at, people are on me, but they can't do anything about me, because I'm protected by much higher forces than they are, because I have an important mission, and it's getting this out, and thank God I'm starting to get it out, because this is what I'm here for. So, and it's funny because I'm talking right now, but in Facebook, it's get ready for this shit. Blue pill, red pill. What do you want to take? It's time to decide, really, actually, and your soul actually already has decided. So, okay, so Ultra is the next one, and Ultra is obviously all about mind control, and on government, we think we're seeing what we're seeing on TV and stuff, and we're all good. Everybody's living a free life, but really, it's freedom and democracy, because everything you see, everything you hear, everything you are exposed to is a form of mind control. and until you break that programming, you are part of that, and it's definitely a tough process to break it. But once you're standing outside of the mind control, it doesn't control you anymore, and you know that, and they know that. And I could go into mind control and how it works, and how they do it, and it is alien technology. And just the first thing I could tell you is the phones. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I'm using a phone to record this right now, but does this phone control me? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not controlled by this phone, because I actually don't have a phone. This is my mom's phone, and I'm just using it to record this video. But that is just one form of technology that is keeping people underneath control. And I could go into mind control, but that's another topic. Then there is definitely after Ultra, there's Luna, which is a project to study a mining base that was set up on the dark side of the moon. And this information that I have right now is obviously ongoing information, but you can see that, because Hollywood shows you everything in the movies, but you only think they're movies, though, because you watch the movie, you're like, oh, that was cool, but then you're like, oh, I got my job and I gotta survive, but that was a cool movie, but it's really, they're showing you the truth, right in front of your eyes. But with Luna, I can say that I could go really deep into that, but basically I can say, like, the movie Transformers: Dark Side of the Moon. When the Apollo astronauts landed there on the moon, they obviously found something there. Actually, there's a lot I could go to and about Apollo that I know. About I could go into that too, but they definitely knew. They were more than just they were there to they were there for more than just landing on the moon, and setting a little established mark there, because first of all, the Americans were not the first ones on the moon. The Nazis were. And basically what they found there was extraterrestrial mining operations, and just a lot of extraterrestrial artifacts on the moon, when they went there. And obviously that had to do with going there, setting up things on the moon, and establishing bases there and stuff like that, which people don't know about, because obviously they think they're only shown so much. But I am here to uncover, to show the rest of it, obviously, because people are still in speculation about whether the moon landing was fake or not. Well, if it is time to wake the fuck up from that, because if you are thinking the moon landing was fake, you are living in the closest box that could ever be created, because we have gone much further than the moon. So here we go. The next one is cosmic, and the clarification is cosmic, and this is the space test program. This is propulsion. This is having to do with dark matter energy. This is dark energy. This is having to do with quantum drives. Obviously interstellar space travel. Wormholes. Those kind of understandings. Along with obviously interstellar craft, and I know about this, though, because I'm involved in it, because I'll just get into that later. But and then there's majestic, and majestic is definitely it's the investigation of aliens and UFOs, of extraterrestrials and their spacecraft. And that all obviously started, It is hard to pinpoint where that really started, but it was in 1947. It was at the Roswell crash when the Majestic program started to come into effect. And there's a lot about the Roswell crash, and everything's for a reason, and the Roswell crash happened. That was on purpose for us to start, getting further advanced, and just what spurned off the Roswell crash, the Industrial Revolution and all that, and it was all for a reason. It was all for a reason, and so that happened, and but Majestic is all about the exploration of aliens and UFOs, and which is a reality, but it's one reality that is not put out there in the public. It's not talked about. It's not anything, because that's the one thing that they don't want anybody to know about. Because if anybody knew the truth, this whole world would be changed in an instant. And because we are living in their world right now, we're not living in our world. But thank God, there's been a collaborative effort by light forces over aeons and aeons to rid the darkness from this universe. And this planet actually is the last planet where they are, and this is the end times, and it's all been prophesized, and it is all coming down to a very very epic event, and so basically that is that. And so above Majestic, and this is in our government, this is our government's security clearance, for the level of information they're dealing with, for the level of truth they're dealing with, or whatever. But there's INWA, who they're basically the investigations of nuclear weapons, and they go around keeping everybody's nukes in check, and then there's D5, and that's above everybody, and that's just basically to keep nuclear war from happening. And obviously that's going on, because I mean, it's